Hey, what's up guys? It's the Nightwing, Way of Life Esports, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video, here to talk about the LCS Spring Split 2020 Week 6 thoughts and opinions. So, kicking it off on Saturday, we had Cloud9 taking on FlyQuest, and thinking about this game, I went into it going, maybe FlyQuest can, give Cloud9 a run for their money in terms of not really beating them, but, obviously being able to contest them in the early game. They were able to contest them in the early game a little bit, but this match showed why Cloud9 is the first place team. They have the best objective control. They know when they have priority. They know their lane assignments really well. They know when to take dragons effectively. They know how to invade correctly. They know how to gank accordingly. When they know they can efficiently gank, they know how to dive correctly, take towers, rotate around the map, bounce the waves back. They're just doing everything correct. And FlyQuest, to a certain point, has been doing really well. They actually have been playing towards their players' strengths and what comps they like to actually play towards, but I think that most people expected Cloud9 to beat them, and Cloud9 took them down. Then TL actually played tactical because Doublelift was sick. He was sick with laryngitis, and after this week, Doublelift has gotten benched due to lack of motivation. And in this matchup versus TL versus TSM, you'd think this would be actually a pretty good match. And TL, by the end of this week, was actually looking really good. And in this game, TL actually just stomped TSM. TSM picked this comp of Maokai and Kale top, where it was supposed to be Broken Blade carrying them, with a pretty serviceable bot side that was constant DPS. TL got the chance to blow Broken Blade's flash on the Kale, which means you're just a constant gank target, and then Bjergsen being on Maokai mid, he really couldn't do anything, and TL took the win. Golden Guardians versus Immortals was a pretty interesting match. This was the match where, didn't they bring back Apollo? Actually, let me kind of bring this up just for a second on my tab. You guys can't see it right now. All you can see is basically is the picture you're looking at. But at this point, Immortals have started to actually go with Apollo, and that's an interesting thing because we got a chance to see Apollo and Hakuho reunite, and I also thought that was actually a pretty good thing for Immortals because they actually looked pretty decent with Apollo being in, because I think Altec wasn't a bad player, but I think that Apollo and Hakuho just are a better duo in general in terms of synergy, because Apollo can shot call while Hakuho can just focus on how he needs to play. Golden Guardians played a pretty good game, all things considered. I still think that Closer is a top 2 jungler in the league, especially on Golden Guardians. And yeah, Golden Guardians take the win against Immortals, and at this point, Cloud9 is 12-0, TL is at 6-6, Golden Guardians is now at 5-7 after this week is actually done. 100 Thieves plays up against Evil Geniuses, and let's be honest here, guys. Evil Geniuses look real boosted on stage. 100 Thieves is also not that much better. I mean, when you're giving up this much priority in the draft with 100 Thieves and actually what they're even giving over to Evil Geniuses, you're getting the feeling that Evil Geniuses don't really know what they're really able to do in terms of strength. I mean, you had Bang and Zazel on the Lovers bot lane, and Evil 100 Thieves actually played, I think, one of their best games of the split so far. I think that this was one of the games where they were pretty much popping off most of the game, and Ryoma still has not, to me, looked that great, but in this game, I got a chance to see a little bit more from him than what I was expecting, but you can also go with the added aspect that, Evil Geniuses could have done more with their actual lead. Then you had TL versus 100 Thieves, and Tactical played really well in this game too. He was the highlighted performance of TL this week. Broxa looked a lot better, the team looked a lot more cohesive, and they managed to take down 100 Thieves with a lot of their superior gameplay around the map. Broxa was able to go around the map effectively and be a lot more, of a factor than he actually was not a factor in these past couple of weeks. And this next match was Dignitas versus FlyQuest, and this was a game where you knew obviously FlyQuest could obviously win, because FlyQuest has been looking a whole lot better than Dignitas. It really did feel to me like Dignitas was actually just getting massively lazy after they started off 3-0, And, you know, during the draft phase, they obviously gave the respect bans to the Yuumi and the Riven and the Syndra because of Power Vivo, Ignar, and Viper. Those are just the respect bans you have to give them in the first part of the draft, because if you leave Riven open, then you are just going to have Viper pick it because it's really good into Aatrox at stomping him, since you obviously are pretty much just a more faster Aatrox without a survivable ult. That's just how I look at the matchup. And during the game, Dignitas is showing why people put them in like that 6th to 7th place range in power rankings, because you have, Aphromo, Froggen, and Huni, who I think just want to play the game, so much differently from each other that it's really showing. Grig was also susceptible to a lot of criticism this year. So far, all the way up to this point that, this split has taken this year. Sorry about that. And so far, Grig looked really lackluster. If I had to vote who was like the worst jungler in the league so far, I would say Grig. He's looked pretty bad, all things considered. And yeah, the FlyQuest played their Kiana comp, and they looked actually pretty good. Power Vivo, to me, has looked like the second or first best mid laner, depending on the day. You saw him getting that early kill onto, was it Grig on the Jarvan, and then, FlyQuest just pretty much snowballed from there. Ignar got a triple kill, and then it was all she wrote, and Wild Turtle was on the Int Senna, and that was actually pretty good. Then the next match you had CLG taking on TSM, and going into this match, you probably thought to yourself, maybe TSM is going to bounce back from yesterday. Hey, they tried out their little special comp of Maokai mid. It didn't work out. But in this game, it is very visibly shown why Pobelter is making CLG better. They're playing a lot more cohesive. Wiggly and Ruin are playing a lot more better with Power Vivo. I still think CLG's bot lane is supremely weak, but right now you can obviously see what's really going on, and you can obviously see what's going on the effect that Pobelter is having overall on the morale of the team and how they want to play out their early game. And you're seeing them do a lot more better things. Even though they're still the worst team in the league, they are making a little bit more of improvements here and there. But still, I think that Stixxay, Ruin, and Wiggly are still bottom tier LCS players so far at the moment. I think the only reason why they have been doing this well is because of Pobelter. So even just removing him in general, you're kind of factoring in this is still going to be a pretty bad team overall. TSM did not try any of that Maokai mid Kale shit during CLG. They just straight up 100% lost. I think TSM is experimenting pretty fine. It's good to experiment. And if they just want to make it to playoffs, obviously, and you want to experiment during the LCS, you can be rather flexible, during playoffs and actually be able to, have a different draft phase than a lot of teams and be able to play towards your strength. You'll want to be able to be flexible right now because it'll be just a lot more beneficial to you in a lot later on down the road. But right now, if they just want to get the wins, that's what they did with their composition of, Mordekaiser, Jarvan, Zoe, Ezreal, and Senna. But they blew Broken Blade's flash and they ganked him really early on, and they actually managed to get a lot of the play topside because they realized that TSM's strength right now is their topside, and I think that Broken Blade obviously is one of the best top laners in the league at the moment. But you also have to factor in, and even they try to counter gank CLG even when Wiggly went up there and Wiggly died. So even blowing Broken Blade's flash level 5 didn't matter because Wiggly ended up dying anyway. But after that, you saw CLG completely ramp up in the game. They had a gold lead. You're like, what kind of CLG is this? Where's this CLG been? Ruin was landing really good Rumble ultimates. TSM started faltering in the mid game where everybody was saying that they would actually falter in. And then, yeah, obviously you see where Pobelter was taking over on the Victor pick that he beat TSM with all the way back in 2015 summer when Pobelter won his first title. And then, yeah, CLG upset TSM, and I was not expecting that at all. 100%ly, is that even a word? 100%ly? That's like, no, 100%ly is not a word. Maybe it is. It doesn't matter. Then the next game of the day, you had Evil Geniuses versus Golden Guardians. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I probably should have not watched this game. Anything that involves Evil Geniuses, I should probably not watch. I don't think they actually give a damn about what the hell this spring split even matters to them. in the draft phase, you have a lot of priority going to Golden Guardians, where they get Haunter on a carry. You get closer on a stable pick like Sejuani, where he can make plays and, you know, have some early game aggression. Bang and Zazel get the Senna and the Rumble, and then it's more like, okay, this is a squad in which where you can actually see them playing towards their strength. Golden Guardians didn't look as good in this game because I think that a lot of people have been a little bit overrating how good Keith had became over these past couple of weeks. He's not exactly as bad as everybody makes it out to be, but he is not good either. And Kumo was still losing in CS to Haunter early on, but then it didn't really matter because later on during the game, they managed to obviously win it. And you can see the Evil Geniuses players, I just think this is not a team that's meshing really well. I think that when they get wins, they're like, okay, now I don't have to flame this guy anymore. Svenskeren was on his patented Lee Sin, and I think Evil Geniuses draft was a whole lot better given the priority they had actually given to every single other lane. So yeah, Evil Geniuses win and they get their record matching up to 5-7. They still don't look that good to me. I think they're actually about as good as Immortals. And then you had the actual worst game of the week, and this was Immortals versus CLG. Oh my hot damn diggity dog, this was a horrible match. Good lord. CLG forgot how to win. Immortals forgot how to play the game. Basically, this is what I equivalent this match to. This is the match where you go to Vegas, you get like the most average looking stripper, she is bouncing on your giant long schlong, and then you're thinking to yourself, man, hope my wife doesn't find out. And then if your wife does find out, or your girlfriend or whatever, she's like, hey, were you at this strip club? You're like, no, your brain just mentally collapses, basically what I'm trying to get to that point. But yeah, everybody's brain in this match basically collapsed. Like, CLG, at one point during this game, got Baron, could have won, didn't do that. Immortals knew how to sideline push, and I think that Soaz is not as bad as everybody is saying. He was doing a lot of great things in this game. You can see what he was doing, side lane pushing on the Camille, because Aatrox could not duel the Camille. You can't duel the Camille on the side lane at that point because she is just too strong with her Ravenous Hydra and her Trinity Force, and when Ruin is just on a Black Cleaver and a Dead Man's Plate. And then later on, the game got to a point where it's like 45 minutes, and then you're thinking to yourself, okay, CLG gave over Elder when they didn't need to, and then basically it's all she wrote. They went into the base, and then now CLG finishes the week off at 2-10. And you're thinking to yourself, all right, CLG, your spring split is over. You are not going to playoffs. Apollo ends the game off on a triple kill, and Ika gets a double kill, and then the game is over. Last game of the week, you had Cloud9 facing off against Dignitas. And Huni getting his infamous Lucian top. That was just, I was like, alright, it's a blast from the past. And the thing with the Lucian top and it being a blast from the past is he lost on it. And if you thought they were going to lose to that, you're crazy. Licorice showed why. He is still one of the best top laners in the league by how much he sacrificed for his team. He didn't even really get that far behind. He blew Huni's flash in a trade earlier on, which kind of forced out Huni's aggression as much as it was. Huni was up like 10 CS, but that's because he was playing a range 80 carry versus a rather melee champion in Aatrox. And then you had Johnson on the Jinx and Afro on the Tom Kench. I was like, what the hell is going on? Frogger was on his patented Anivia. You had a lot of these guys on their real nice comfort picks, but it really didn't matter. Niski showing off in this game, basically just not even 1v9ing, just showing why he's like the top 2 mid laner of the split. Then you also had Sven and Vulcan playing as well as they do. You had Blabber placing his aggression perfectly on. I like that Blabber didn't go topside because he knew it was not gonna really work out, because Licorice was, obviously willing to sack his lane in order for the team to do better. And Niski ends up soloing Huni in the 1v1, and then Huni's dead, and pretty much at that point the Lucian top is not ahead, so it pretty much is useless. The Jinx tries firing the super mega death rocket, and then Niski sidesteps it, and then obviously After that, Cloud9 are able to win the game. They crack mid, they crack the side lanes, and then basically crack any hopes of Dig ever winning this match. And then that is it for the LCS Week 6 thoughts and opinions, my brothers and sisters. So yeah, basically the takeaways from this week is that Cloud9 is 12-0, TSM is like a teeter-totter, is that what it's called? Basically a scale. TL is looking a lot much better, and actually, we have our El Clasico matchup coming up this week with TSM versus Cloud9, and that's going to be a big hyped up match, and I can't wait to see that matchup this week. Alright, so there's an update I want to actually do for these videos coming up later on. I think during the summer split I'll actually do it, but I'm thinking of a way to make these a lot more efficient. So yeah, I'm actually going to start doing VOD reviews. I know I'm not really that good at doing them yet, but I want to start doing VOD reviews because I think that it's just, you know, more content for you guys rather than just doing the usual that I do. I always kind of want to, you know, do a lot more better things. Good lord, I cannot stop. Let me actually get a drink. And all these drinks out here, and I'm still thirsty. Oh my god. But yeah, I'm gonna start doing VOD review of probably just Cloud9 games. I don't want to VOD review teams I could literally give a damn about. I'll probably VOD review Cloud9 games and G2 games because obviously they're my favorite teams, so I'll obviously, you know, take them over anybody else. So if you guys want to see me VOD review, yeah, just like the video, comment down below. Sorry about the coughing, I was just swallowing dick, and you know, it's called a bro job at the end of the day. See you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all enjoy. I'm a Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out. See you later, you sexy ass dude.
Hi there guys, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.